I'm going to do this a little differently from most drum tours by starting out with the hardware. The big kit uses a Pearl Icon rack with 4 curved horizontal bars, each freestanding on its own 2 feet. The sections overlap at the corners, and I used to lock them together to provide more stability. But since I haven't played the kit out on a stage in a while, the sections are all freestanding right now. Most of the cymbal booms are Pearls or Gibraltars. There are 24 rail clamps, 8 pipe clamps, and a few multi-angle and rotating clamps. There are also 3 Gibraltar Ultra Adjust boom arms, various dog bones, and tri-clamps. Fully loaded, the kit weighs over 550 pounds. Looking at the kick drum, this is a 22x14 Pearl Competitor marching bass, which is a 6-ply mahogany shell. I added 2 clamp-on bass drum spurs, and I used the hardware from the marching harness as cable management for the D-drum chrome trigger. The front resonant head is an Evans EQ3 in the Frost style, and it's got a kick port and an Audix D6 microphone. As we work our way back around behind the kit to see the batter side of the kick drum, I'll point out the throne. It's a Rock and Sock Nitro with the saddle seat design. The batter head on the kick drum here is an Evans EQ2 with the internal overtone control ring, and I have an Evans patch on there to give it a little bit of extra protection and a little bit of slap. As you can see, there's no muffling. I like to play the kick drum wide open, and that's because the pedal I'm using is a direct drive. This is a Mapex Double Raptor, which was the more budget-friendly version of the Mapex Falcon. The main snare drum here on the big kit is a Korg wave drum. This silver one here is a WDX model. I run it through a TC Electronic Nova delay. The wave drum has a 10-inch Evans Onyx batter head on it. Originally, when I first got this kit, I was using a Pearl Brass Piccolo snare as my main snare drum, but then I transitioned over to the Oriental model of the wave drum, which I now have over there on the Red Flower kit. And then I got the WDX for the big kit so that I could take the Oriental with me out to gigs. If you're interested in learning more about the wave drum or the Nova delay, I made a video all about that, so check that out if you are interested. The side snare here is a Pearl Mark Quinones Q Popper Timbali snare. It's steel, 12x5, and it also has an Evans Onyx batter head on it. I prefer the HD drive for my acoustic snare drums, but since I went with all black heads this time around, I went with the Onyx. The Q Popper is mic'd from underneath with a CAD CM217 condenser mic in an Audix D vise, which is clamped to the rim of the 6-inch Pearl concert tom, and it's also triggered with a D-drum trigger into the Alesis DM5. The toms are all Pearl PTE concert toms, which are 6-ply poplar and capper wood. They're 7.5 millimeters thick and have Evans black hydraulic heads on them right now. The PTE series only comes in a black finish, but that was fine with me. They're easy to tune, and they hold their tunings pretty well, and since they're concert toms, they're designed to produce notes, and that's, mainly what I was going for. I'll run down the sizes and the tunings here, starting with the 6x8, which is tuned to F. Being the smallest of the concert toms, it really fits in better over here with the Decabons, and you can see right below it, I have the 22-inch Decabon, which is also tuned to an F. So I have a nice little octave interval right there between the Decabon and the concert tom. And around them you can see I have 2 A sharps and 3 Cs, so there's a nice little melody that can happen right here. The next concert tom is the 8x8, which is tuned to a C, followed by the 10x10 tuned to a G, but then I jump to the 13-inch Timbali tom. This is a Pearl Primero steel timbali, tuned more open like a traditional tom instead of being cranked down like a timbali. Right now it's in that little space between an E and an F, so it can be used for either note. The main reason it's here instead of the 12-inch tom being here is because the 12-inch tom just wouldn't fit comfortably over the kick. I had to raise it up, and that caused me to have to raise up the cymbals around it, and that was just causing a chain reaction I didn't like. So I moved the timbali over here and tuned it more open, and that's really been great. So the 12x10-inch concert tom follows, and it's tuned to a D, and then we have the 14x12 tuned to A, and the 16x14 tuned to F. As I spin around here to the left side, I have the larger odd-sized concert toms. The 13x11 is tuned between a B and a C, so it could be either a B or a C. and the 15x14 is tuned to a G. The 6, 8, 10, 12, 13, 13, and 14 are all mic'd from underneath with an 80D and 70s on Audix device clamps. The 15x14 and 16x14 are mic'd with an 80D and 80s, which are kick mics, and those are mounted inside the drum on stands. All the toms except for the 6-inch are triggered with either D-Drum or Simmons triggers going into the Alesis DM5 module and the Art Effects 1 processor. The triggers and electronic aspect of the big kit are a big part of how it works. I can change the sound of the toms, kick, and side snare by pulling up any of the 20 electronic kits I've made and then blending them into the acoustic mix. If you want to see some examples of those electronic kits, or you just want to learn more about triggers or how all that is mixed together, I encourage you to check out the video segment on the DM5 and triggering, and the segment on the signal chain. Okay, next up I have the D-Drum Decabonds. They're fiberglass, they're all 6 inches in diameter, and the lengths range from 6 inches to 24 inches in 2-inch increments. Roughly half of the Decabonds are mounted on each side of the kit, and they're also tuned to create melodic fills and to create more sonic distance between the concert toms by allowing me to go up into a higher register even if I'm playing the descending note, or vice versa. You can kind of work your way up and down and really get creative between the toms and the Decabonds. So starting in the center of the kit, I have the 6-inch Decabond, which is tuned to A. And if we go to the right, we have the 10-inch tuned to an F or F sharp, the 14-inch tuned to a D or D sharp, the 18 is tuned to a B, and the 22 is tuned to a G. Coming back again to the 6-inch Decabond in the center, and then moving left, I have the 8-inch tuned to a G, the 12 tuned to an E, the 16 is tuned to C, and the 20-inch Decabond is tuned to an A or A sharp. And again, this 24 down here is tuned to an F. All of the Decabonds are mic'd with CAD TM211s, which are clamped directly to the shells, and all of that goes into 2 Korg D8-88s for recording or submixing before they come into the L-20. And again, if you want to know more about how all of that works with the Decabonds, check out the signal chain video segment. Also over here on the left side, I have the LP John Dolmayan mini timbales. These are nickel-plated steel, 6 inches and 8 inches, with Evans black chrome heads on them, and they're tuned to a C and an A sharp. These are the only drums on the kit that are not close mic'd. I treat them more like percussion effects, so they just bleed into the overheads as part of the whole kit sound. And so speaking of the overheads, let's take a look at the cymbals. The hi-hats here, these are 13-inch Zildjian Ks, but I also use 13-inch A Master Sounds and 13-inch New Beats. The New Beats are my live hats, and so right now they're over on the Red Flower kit, and the A Master Sounds are set up over there on the Red Flower kit as the aux hats on the right, and above them I have some 10-inch Meinl MCS Classics. The close hi-hat mic here is another CAD CM217 condenser, and the hi-hat stand is a legless Gibraltar, which is connected to the rack using a little dog bone clamp and a long pearl tom arm into a rack clamp. The aux hats here, moving to the right, those are 10-inch Wuhans. They're not on a pedal, but I can tighten and loosen them here with this adjustment. There are 3 rides on the kit, and that's been the case from the beginning. I always wanted a light ride, a medium ride, and a heavy ride. So the light one here, this is a 20-inch Zildjian Ping. The medium ride is a 21-inch Zildjian Sweet, and the heavy ride is a 19-inch Zildjian Z3 Thrash. Being the medium ride of the group, the Sweet ride probably gets the most action. It's very versatile. It's what I'll take to gigs if I can only take one ride. The Ping ride can be very subtle, or you can really open it up by laying into the bell. And the Z3, it gets very washy very fast. It really fills out. And because of that added wash, it makes a really nice alternate crash. And so that brings me to the crash cymbals. For the big kit, I decided to go with the fast crash style. I have a 15-inch A Custom Fast, and a 14-inch A Custom Fast. And in between those, this is a 14-inch K. Heading over here to the right, I also have an 18-inch Zildjian A Medium Thin. And moving past the Z3 Thrash Ride, I have a 16-inch Zildjian A Fast, which is in the traditional finish like the 18. My splash cymbals are all Wuhans. I have an 8, a 10, and 2 12s. The China cymbals here, these are a combination of Wuhans and Zildjians with one old Sabian in the mix. The main China of the group is this one here on the right. This is an 18-inch riveted Wuhan, and its counterpart on the left is a 16-inch riveted Wuhan. And next to that 16, this is the demolished Sabian B8 Pro that I got back in the early 1990s. Its counterpart China over on the right side, this is an 18-inch Zildjian prototype, and it's got this kind of unique indent cup in the bell. Finally, here at the far right corner of the kit, I have a 14-inch Zildjian Oriental China Trash with the red lettering, and its counterpart on the far back left corner of the kit is the 16-inch Zildjian Oriental China Trash. And that brings us to the percussion. Here on the far left, I have the red LP jam block, and to the front left, I have the blue jam block. To the front right, I have the orange piccolo jam block, and on the far right, I have the big purple gyro block. The small set of chimes here, these are from Treeworks, and coming back around to the floor by the hi-hat, I have the Meinl foot Cabeza. Coming to the back corner again, I've got this Dell tablet that I got when I bought my computer. It's nothing fancy like an iPad, but I can use it to control Spotify or a YouTube playlist. Lastly, these are my sticks. These are Vader Sweet Rides. The Sweet Ride stick has the length of a standard 5A, and it's even a little bit thinner than a 7A. They have a short taper here. You can see they've got a ball tip, so they're great for jazz. They really bounce. Because they're so light and thin, they do require a bit of a light touch. So that brings me to the end of the tour of the big kit. Again, if you want more information about anything you've seen, any questions, you can check out the other videos in the playlist. So if you want to see more, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you back here when I put out the new stuff. Until then, take it easy, and as always, thanks for stopping by.